Amazon's Good Omens: Why Neil Gaiman Doesn't Want a Season 2. IGN. Warning. The following story, the seeds for a follow-up season of Good Omens, seemed to have been planted in the epic finale. In the 6th episode, but as fans of the book upon which Good Omens is based, Neil Gaiman's Good Omens, the nice and accurate prophecies of Agnes Nutter, which, no, there's no more source material to draw upon for another season. At least, not I. The author is also grateful that he never faced pressure from Amazon to create more seasons of Good Omens past these 6 episodes. According to Gaiman, the streaming service was more than willing to keep the series as a limited event series. There would be only Amazon. And Good Omens director Douglas McKinnon is satisfied with creating a complete. Honestly, Gaiman knows that fans are still eager for that proposed Good Omens sequel novel that he once had said would be released. But according to the yes, Gaiman then laughs before adding, but the journey to bring Good Omens to the screen, either big or small, has been a long one. It first went into when. Gaiman laughs, then continues. According to the author, the world has never needed Good Omens more than it does now. We encourage you to read our updated end.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.